When was Kobe Bryant the most hated player in the NBA? If you ask this question honestly, the answer is not complicated, but the reasons behind it are: the period when Kobe Bryant faced the most criticism, resentment, and outright hate was roughly between 2003 and 2007, with the peak coming around 2004 to 2006. This was not because Kobe suddenly became a bad player, or because he stopped winning entirely. It was because multiple narratives collided at the same time. Media narratives, team situations, public expectations, and personal controversies. And Kobe became the center of all of it. To understand why this happened, context matters more than box scores. The first major turning point came after the 2004 NBA Finals. The Lakers lost in disappointing fashion, and shortly after that, Shaquille O'Neal left the team. What followed was one of the most damaging narratives of Kobe's career. The media framed the situation as if Kobe had personally pushed Shaq out of Los Angeles. Instead of seeing it as a complicated front office decision mixed with ego clashes on both sides, fans were given a simple story. Kobe broke up a dynasty. Overnight, neutral fans became critics. Kobe was labeled selfish, difficult, and uncoachable. The idea that he cared more about control than winning began to spread. Even people who had admired his work ethic started questioning his leadership. The nuance disappeared, and blame found an easy target. Then came the ball-hog narrative, which defined much of the mid-2000s. Between 2005 and 2007, Kobe was playing with some of the weakest rosters of his career. Lineups featuring players like Smush Parker and Kwame Brown were not built to contend, but most casual fans did not analyze roster construction or offensive responsibility. They looked at shot attempts and points. Kobe's scoring volume was historic, but without context, it was misinterpreted. The narrative became simple again. He only cares about scoring. What was often ignored was the reality that someone had to take those shots. The offense depended on him creating something out of nothing. But box scores don't show defensive pressure, spacing issues, or lack of secondary creators. Over time, perception hardened into belief. At the same time, the Colorado case in 2003 to 2004 cast a long shadow. This part of Kobe's career must be handled carefully, but it cannot be ignored. The media backlash was massive. Sponsors distanced themselves. Public opinion turned sharply negative, especially outside of Los Angeles. Even after the case ended, the damage to his image remained. For many fans, basketball became secondary to character judgments, and that stigma followed him for years. Then came a moment that should have unified fans, but didn't. In 2006, Kobe scored 81 points in a single game. Historically, this should have been celebrated without debate. Instead, it poured fuel on the fire. Critics called it empty stats. Discussions about team basketball exploded. Rather than seeing an all-time performance in a flawed situation, many fans saw confirmation of what they already believed. Ironically, Kobe's greatness increased the hate. The more impossible his scoring became, the more people questioned his intentions. Excellence did not soften opinions. It polarized them. Another factor was comparison. Before 2008, Kobe was compared to Michael Jordan almost every night. Many fans resisted that comparison emotionally. Kobe had not yet won championships without Shaq, and for some, that was all that mattered. Until he proved he could lead a team to the top on his own, people refused to embrace him fully. Respect had to be earned the hard way. So when did things start to change? The shift began between 2008 and 2010. Kobe won an MVP. The Lakers returned to the finals. Then came back-to-back championships. Finals MVPs followed. More importantly, the leadership narrative flipped. The same traits once called selfish were now described as demanding excellence. The same intensity once labeled toxic was reframed as accountability. By 2010, something fundamental had changed. Fans who once hated Kobe now respected him. They feared him. And eventually, many admired him. The results forced a re-evaluation of the past. After retirement, most of the hate disappeared entirely, replaced by appreciation for the totality of his career. Looking back, Kobe Bryant wasn't hated because he failed. He was hated because expectations were enormous, context was ignored, and greatness often makes people uncomfortable before it earns acceptance.